Hello, everybody. My name is Sandie and welcome to Psychic Creations. In advance, thank you for watching. We have a really fun and interesting show for you today. I'm going to be talking about stones and also my Dake House book. I got my cheat sheets with me here, so please bear with me. Do you know that minerals, rocks and stones, have properties attached to them where they're used in spiritual awareness, healing, and in divination? That's cool. Divining stones is called lithromancy. And I happen to be a lithromancer because I use stones to give intuitive readings. That's what I do for my living. And what I have is 117 stones, which are jaspers and crystals and agates. I also have some earth elements thrown in there too. And they're all programmed with their own meaning. And what I have is a client choose X amount of stones, and then they lay them down in a mat in front of them, and then that helps me help my client with present day concerns or tell them future events. It's really kind of interesting because as I have programmed each stone with their own meaning, I've had a lot of my clients tell me that they hear in their minds, their third eye, they hear, pick me, pick me. And so they will pick out that stone to lay on the mat in front of them as one of their chosen stones for the reading. And it's really interesting too, because those meanings are exactly what my client, that person, is needing some help with, a present day concern, or I need to tell them something in the future. It's really a lot of fun. I have a website where I can read online too. All of my pictures of my stones are on the website, and that is sandiepsychicstones.com, www.sandiepsychicstones.com. Okay, now, if you are interested in a reading, like I said, I do read online, and all of the information for a psychic reading using my stones happens to be on my website, and you can pay through what is called PayPal. That's really a simple and easy method to get my fee. All right, now I want to talk to you about something that's an awful lot of fun. You know that minerals down through the centuries have been prescribed as elixirs and powders for physical healing or remedies? They're a lot of fun. Here are a few of the wilder concoctions. The amethyst was prescribed to keep drinkers sober. An amethyst was placed in a goblet or a glass, and no matter how much you drank, throughout the day, throughout the night, the amethyst was to keep you sober. That's kind of cool, I guess. You'd never become intoxicated as long as you have an amethyst in your glass, but you have to be careful so you don't swallow it. So make sure it's a pretty good sized piece of amethyst, all right? This is so funny. I love this one. In 18th century, jaspers was appropriate remedy to scour the guts. That was real important back then, to scour your guts. But only if the stone was engraved with a figure of a scorpion at the time when the sun enters the sign of Scorpio. Okay, it won't work on any other astrology zodiac sign, only in Scorpio. That was the concept back then. Well, you know, I can sleep a lot easier knowing that I only have to scour my guts once a year. These are fun. These are a lot of fun. Now, garnets were given in the 1600s to those who have weak hearts. Although the patient had to remain in bed for the rest of their lives while under the garnet's care. There was one major side effect to the client being in bed for the rest of their lives, and that was insomnia. So those poor people, snorers of the world, don't unite. All right, now, Leonardus, the physician to the Borgias, in the mid-1500s, stated that bloodstone that was rubbed with the juice of the heliotrope plant would make the wearer invisible, rendering poisonous snake bites harmless. But he forgot to mention, if you were invisible, how can a snake find you to bite you? He kind of left that out. Well, that's a great formula, I suppose, when those pesky vampires are outside looking for their nightly meal. So make sure you have bloodstone in your medicine cabinet. But now, the Franciscan friar, Benedino di Sagagan, he claimed in 1576 to cure hemorrhages, you merely had to hold a bloodstone, but only if that mineral was held over a pyramidal structure. Wouldn't work any other way. So I'm sure that their carts that they used back then for transportation had a bumper sticker that said Egypt or bust, because I think that was the only pyramid around maybe at the time. Well, up in the northern hemisphere anyway. This one here is fun. In 1564, coral powder was prescribed as a charm to cure insanity, bring about wisdom, stop fluxes of the belly, drive away goblins and thunderstorms, and to ease the pain of hemorrhoids. Well, we all need powdered coral in our medicine cabinets to drive away those dreaded goblins during a thunderstorm. I just need to go run out and get some powdered coral right now. Those are fun. Well, I have written a book with more modern methods for the use of minerals and in physical healing, spiritual growth, and divination. This book is entitled, of course, Sandie Psychic Stones, 50 Stones for Divination, Spiritual Awareness, and Healing. And inside you are going to find quite a number of different information. I have written a little bit of scientific information, where the stone was found, perhaps how it was named, when it was found, the different colors that it comes in. A lot of stones are very colorful, like the onyx. A lot of people think that onyx is just black, but that comes in a variety of different colors. It's really fun to have several pieces of the same mineral, just in the different colors. And also inside, you will find astrology stones, like your birthstones. You'll find star stones. You'll also have a list of different metaphysical properties where you can use for spiritual growth, to help you meditate, are just examples of some of the lists of properties of metaphysical uses. And then also, there's a list in here about the physical remedies that you can use with stones. A lot of people will make an elixir out of a stone. I happen to make a elixir called, well, just a crystal elixir, and you can spray it on you. You can drink about an ounce of it per day, and that is where you just put the stone, a cleansed stone, inside distilled water, and I keep it out in the sun for about 12 hours or so. And the minerals from the crystal, the properties and the energies of the crystal, get into the water to help you there again. If you have a wound, you can apply the elixir on that to help it heal, to drink it, to help you get rid of fluxes of the belly. Okay? There's an awful lot of information in this book about the properties of stones. They're a lot of fun. Now, what you can do too is, I have a section in here for divination, and it's very interesting and a lot of fun. It is a 3-stone divination. You can pick out a stone for past, what is bringing forth concerns in the present, and how to take care of it in the future. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and it's pretty accurate too. Now also, what you can do with stones is, like I do with my stones, I have programmed each one of them for their own meaning. And you can do that too with your own stones. If you happen to like a particular stone and you find in this book or online, there's lots of information online, that you don't want the stone to represent this. You want it to represent something for you because you really resonate with that stone. Well, you can do that. All you have to do is hold it. and tell it, you are my ruby and you are going to mean whatever it is that you would like it to mean. It's very, very simple to program your stone for the property, be it physical, metaphysical, or spiritual, that you would like to use personally. Now with my stones, there is a stone called the rose quartz, and globally it's known as a love stone. But I programmed mine a little differently, so when people do come in for a reading and they're very aware of the different properties of stones, I don't want them to give themselves their own reading. So I've had quite a few clients who'll say, well, I know what this one means and I know what this one means. And it's like, no, you don't. And so that's what the point I'm trying to make with that is that you can program a personal stone, something that you really like. It may not have, in all the books written, it may not have the property that you would like to have, so program it yourself. Stones are fun. Who doesn't like to pick up a wonderful stone, a shiny stone, one that's been carved into jewelry pieces, one that's been carved into home decoration? Stones and minerals are awesome as decoration pieces, for energies that you're wearing on your person, to give as gifts. It's awesome to give a carved figurine or a vase or even a beautiful piece of jewelry. I mean, look at diamonds. They're all over the place. Stones are awesome to have in your life, to decorate in your home, in your office. They bring in good energies. A lot of stones, which you will find the information of in this book, take negative energy out of the home. Your office, if you're in a high stressful job, they will keep you calm. They'll keep your clients calm. Stones and minerals are Mother Nature right in the palm of your hand. What I like is to know that I've picked up a stone that's millions of years old, and it was just right in my own backyard. So that's a lot of fun. Minerals are great for divination. Also, too, I'd like to add that when my clients pick up stones, they will place them on the mat in a certain pattern. And that's really interesting to me because it shows me exactly where their emotional or mental state is. For an example, they'll pick up stones and lay them in a square or a box, and I know that they're feeling boxed in. And so what I will do with the rest of the stones is show them how to make a lid for that box, or how to show them how to break away out of their boxed in feeling. And so my stone readings are an awful lot of fun. I've been reading them since 1984, and I've had a lot of clients that will hold them and they'll kiss them and they'll hug them. And it's just an awful lot of fun to have a stone reading. And so if you are interested in a stone reading, there again, my website is www.sandiepsychicstones.com, where you can purchase this book. And you can ask me questions. I have my own personal email address attached to my website, and you can ask me all kinds of questions about stones. What would maybe fit for you? How something could be programmed, especially just for your own personal use. So stones, it's a lot of fun. Minerals and rocks and pebbles and anything that you can find. I even pick up stones that are on the ground, and I use those too. In fact, every time I have a family member or friend that's going somewhere around the world, they say, what would you like me to bring back? And I say, rock. And they look at me like I'm crazy. And I just say, when you're out in the country, pick up a rock and keep that for me, because I may not be able to ever get over to Italy or the North Pole. Well, not that you can pick up a rock at the North Pole, but you never know. So that's treasure to me, is stones from all over the place. Hi, and welcome back to Psychic Creations. You know, I happen to be a paranormal investigator with a team based in Carson City called Thin Veil Investigators. And we have explored and investigated many places in the northern Nevada region. One of those places happens to be a historic home and an antique store. It's called Antiques Plus in Genoa. It was the house that was built by the one and only Genoa undertaker, and it's called the Dake House. It's very haunted, and we have had many paranormal experiences in that home. We've captured all kinds of spirits floating around in there. We have captured all sorts of anomalies like orbs and mists, faces. We have captured all kinds of stuff like that on our film. We've also captured a lot of EVP, which is electronic voice phenomena, which is ghost speak. And that's really cool when you have a digital recorder and you say, "Hi, Spirit, would you like to talk with me?" And they say yes. That's an awful lot of fun. We have captured videos, pictures, and EVP inside of the Dake House. And it is extraordinary what's been in there. Now, I've written a book about the Dake House. It is called The Victorian Past and Haunted Present of the Dake House. And inside this, I start out with the history of the Dake House. Charles Dake, the undertaker, was actually a carpenter, and he was the chief of police. I'm sorry, he wasn't chief of police. He was what was he? I'll figure that out in just a minute. I can't find it on my notes here. He actually did not have his undertaker parlor in the house, as was the fashion. In fact, it was about an acre to the north of the house where he had his undertaker parlor. He did his other type of business in a barn and also inside of his house. There is a huge barn on the property, and that was a place where the bodies were held in the wintertime, waiting for the spring thaw so the bodies could be buried. And justice of the peace, that's what he was. And he performed those type of duties inside the house, so he didn't want his undertaker's business to be in the same house where people are getting married. That's kind of interesting. All right. The barn is very haunted also. In fact, on May 4th, the owner of the Dake House happened to have a barn sale during Cowboy Poetry Weekend. And I went inside to take some pictures, do a little mini investigation. Very haunted. She has an old doll there that nobody has purchased. It looks like it's wearing a sailor's outfit, and that doll is very haunted too. I can see why she keeps it out in the barn, because I don't think I would want to purchase it, to tell you the truth, and I really wouldn't want it inside of the Dake House, which now is Antiques Plus, where she's got fabulous antiques. Now, having raised his family inside of this awesome house, he sold the house in 1909 to Pony Express rider Theodore Perry Hawkins. And he raised his family in it until 1949, when they left it abandoned. And for the next 20 years, it just fell into shambles. Well, in 1962, Bernice and Ted Huber, they were running around trying to see just where they could find, because they wanted to move up into the northern Nevada region from California. And they happened to see the Dake House. And Bernice was a person who loved to take a dilapidated old home or business and hotels and restore them, which is exactly what she did to the Dake House. And to this day, it's absolutely beautiful. What they did inside, the restorations, they had to put in new windows, new floorings. In fact, with the owner now, she was 13 years old when they moved in, and she said when she walked in, she stepped on a floorboard and went up to her knees. The floor just broke right underneath her. So, and today, Martha, which is the owner, Martha Williams, is the owner of the Dake House. She says that the restoration is continuing. It's continuous, but she says it's a lot of fun to keep it restored and updated, and it is in the National Register of Historic Places because she has never moved it. The house has never been moved, and there has never been any huge major reconstruction, restoration to the home. So that's pretty cool how that is. It's listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Okay. Now, since 2005, we have gone ghost hunting in there, myself and my ghost hunting team, Finville Investigators, and we have seen all kinds of spirits in there, like I was saying. There happens to be a very large portrait of roses, pink roses, on a vase, in a vase on a table. And there was a spirit attached to that, there still is. But every time that Martha would try to sell it, if there was a purchaser that was interested, this portrait, this painting, would fall off the wall. It almost caused a fire at once, or it would disappear. It would fall behind another piece of furniture. Martha, back in, I believe it was 2005, asked me one time if I could please come in and find out who the spirit was, which I did. And it was a woman by the name of Mary, and she just did not want that portrait sold because it was hers. And so I told Martha that. Martha said, okay, well, we just won't sell it. Now, this portrait happens to be globally known. There's been people from all over the world that have come to Genoa, to the Dake House, to see this haunted portrait. It has been presented in a number of media, newspapers and magazines, and also on TV. So it hangs in one of the parlors, and it's a beautiful portrait, but it's just not for sale anymore. I have to add here that I am a psychic, and that's how I make my living. Of course, I was talking earlier about my psychic stones, but I also have an ability to where I can see people that have crossed over. And that's how Martha, and why Martha asked me to come in and to look for the spirit that's around this haunted painting, because I can see. And she just has a, no pun intended, a death grip on this portrait because she just does not want anybody to buy it. That's going to stay in that Dake House for well, forever. All right. If you happen to be in Genoa, please stop by the Antiques Plus. It's at the south end of town. And just look around. She's got, like I said, wonderful antiques. There's something for everybody there. And you can also purchase my book there. Let me put this down here. Okay. My book is sold at the Dake House. And I can also sell it to you at my website, which is www.sandiepsychicstones.com/books.html. You can purchase that on my website. And there's also another place in Genoa called the Cobweb Palace. A team member, Kim Coppell, has a business, Genoa Historic Ghost Tours, and she has her office out of the Cobweb Palace. And she sells my books too. It's very interesting, like I said at the beginning of this section of the show. The first part has history of the house, and then it goes into the history of Martha and her family, the restorations and what they've done. And then it flows into the paranormal activity that we Finveilers have captured on film. We've had all types of events at the Dake House. In fact, we've had, since 2006, we have a spirit tour, and that's a lot of fun. People can come in and we talk about the paranormal activities and the ghosts and the spirits that we have found inside. And we also have, well, refreshments, and we have that around Halloween, so that's always fun. And then if time and weather permitting, we take the clients up to the cornerstones, actually, which are still on the land that the Undertaker parlor was there. During an avalanche, the Undertaker parlor itself was kind of like taken off down into the valley, but the cornerstones are still there. And they're very interesting because most of the guests that come for the spirit tour, when they stand on that cornerstone, they get very dizzy or they get nauseous. It's very interesting how the cornerstones have remained haunted. That's a lot of fun. So if you happen to be in Genoa, please stop by, say Sandie sent you, and ask for the book. I also have 2 other books, Thin Veil Investigations and Silver Ghosts, and they also are sold at the Dake House and my website and the Cobweb Palace, and they all have stories about the Dake House inside. It's a good book, if I can say so myself. It was fun writing this, and it's just kind of a nice book too for the community, for museums, because there hasn't ever been a book written about the Dake House before, outside of stories here and there in different books. And so this kind of gives you the full-blown, well, everything that you need to know about the Dake House is in my new published book. So thank you very much for watching my show, and we will talk to you next time.